Hello.
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
Good. One second, my wife Melissa's joining. One second.
Okay.
Okay, let's use this. Okay. Hi, love, love. How do we?
Hi, how are you?
Hi. Good. How are you? It's so nice to meet you guys. Yeah. Let me just. There. Now I can see you. Okay. Oh, I like the shirt. Are you guys selling merch?
The club sells merch. Yeah, the
Okay.
train house, the train club, and they're
Nice.
nonprofits. So yeah, I'm rocking the shirt. I'm heading over to the train house in a few minutes after we're done with our interview because we have two interviews with Train magazines.
Nice. Oh, I love that. Well, thanks for agreeing to do this. Big fan of Impractical Jokers. So I was originally following you, and then I saw this come up, and I was like, oh, this is perfect for my podcast, which is all about charity and giving back. And but let's talk about and start with the Pacific Southern Railway. So I've watched a couple interviews and read a few articles, and the story behind your purchase is quite the story in itself. So share that with us.
Sure. The story starts back in December. An article hit the Wall Street Journal about one of America's longest running, oldest model railroad clubs. It's a nonprofit called Pacific Southern Railway. And they've been in existence for like 75 years. The original owner started building the railroad in 1950, then the club formed in 1964. And for decades, they've been building this incredible model railroad club that is bigger than the house itself. So the house is like 4,000 square feet, and they knocked out a foundation wall and kept going into the yard for the model railroad. It's incredible.
Oh my
And
God.
it's a nonprofit. They donate all their proceeds every year. They open up the house to families to go through. They donate all the proceeds to fire and EMT right here in New Jersey. The house is 5 minutes away from our house. Uh,
Wow.
And we didn't know it was there until we
no
saw it in
idea.
the paper.
No
Yeah, I was
idea.
gonna ask, did you even know it existed? Because you like trains, like you're a train person, Murr. So
Oh, I
I
mean, all my model trains were in my basement because our house, we live in a just an average size home. You know, we just did not have space to build my trains from childhood, which were my best memories of my dad and I, who passed from Alzheimer's. My best memories are with him. And to the day he died, you could do, if you did three things, he would smile immediately. If you put a model railroad magazine in front of him, he'd smile like that. If you played a Frank Sinatra song, he'd sing along with you. And if you played the movie Airplane, he would laugh at every joke in the movie.
I love
Today he
that.
died. He didn't remember who we were anymore, but those three things would snap him right back to the man he was.
Yeah.
So around this time when the article hit, Melyssa owns a candle company called 95 Candles.
So I was in the process of looking for a bigger space. I was running basically the whole operation in our garage, and I took over the whole garage, and it was crazy down there. We ran out of storage. I ran out of space. Then we started doing in-person events, so there was more equipment. It was just too much. So we started looking at different spaces, and we thought maybe a warehouse would be good, close by. Then we saw the train club, and James went to go see it first. And he called me. He was like, "You have to come see it." He was like, I think you could do candles here too." He's like, I think we could both save it and you could do candles." I was like, a house? I don't know. And a week later, I went to go see it on my own. I was like, okay, this has to be saved. Like, there's no way this can go away. It's absolutely incredible the work that these guys do.
Yeah, when I went to first visit the house, my our first idea was, well, Melissa needs much more space. She ships out thousands and thousands of candles a year now, which is a business she started during COVID, and her degree is in geriatric care, which is why to the day he died, my father, she one of the many millions of reasons I fell in love with Melissa is because to the day he died, my wife just had a way of speaking to my father that none of us ever knew how to. Because Alzheimer's and dementia is a very specific disease with a very specific vocabulary that you need to learn, a new language you need to learn to talk to that patient suffering from it. And Melissa's degree is in that. So she just could communicate with him in a way that we could not, or had various degrees of success in communicating with like. So when she started years ago an Alzheimer's charity, and we started together. It's called 95 Charity. It's the charity portion of her company, and it started 4 years ago. Our first charity event. Uh, all the money goes to the proceeds go to the Fisher
Yeah,
Center.
Fisher Center for Alzheimer's Research Foundation.
Yep.
They're in New York City, and they do absolutely incredible work. They have a different spin on their research. Instead of isolating the disease and trying to treat it, they try to stop it before it ever starts.
Yeah, it's a novel approach because when you're dealing with a family member who has Alzheimer's dementia, I mean, I just lived it for, with my father. You go to a different doctor, and everyone's just, it's like throwing darts at a dartboard. Let's try this, let's try that, not knowing what's going to work. And then you lose the person that you knew because the drug interactions are different for every person. There were, but toward the end of my father's life, I said to my mother, I was like, we just have to take him off these things slowly because the interactions are too much. He's not the person he was. What are you gaining? You know, and so the Fisher Center does something very different. Their scientists are working on stopping the disease from taking hold before it does, rather than trying to treat it with medicine afterward, which is like wandering a dark forest, with no light.
Yeah.
Uh, the first year of our Alzheimer's charity, Melyssa and I raised like $30,000 for Fisher Center. Second year, like 65, 70,000. Last year, 132,000. So it's grown and grown and grown exponentially as Melissa's candle company has grown. So we needed a space for the charity too.
Yeah.
So all this kind of came together in this one, amazing way. So when we first approached the train club, my idea was, let's buy a warehouse. Melissa can run her company out of half of it, and the Alzheimer's charity we can run out of it. And the other half, we can rebuild the train club bigger, better than it was before. And then we saw the train club. It can't be moved. It's part of the home. You would destroy 90% of it to save 10%,
And
right?
we didn't realize this the first time going through either. They don't buy tracks and lay them down and buy different. They build their own tracks.
Yeah,
they had stakes this big, and
there's millions
measure the tracks exactly, and they hammer them in so it can't be touched. It can never be touched.
It's not modular. It's not like stuff you buy in a store.
No.
It is handmade for decades.
Decades, yeah, so long.
And I'm like, so then it was like, well, shoot, the night, and the widow, God bless her, she was her husband was the president of the club, and he died of cancer last year, and the club was faced with an impossible situation. They're a nonprofit. They don't have the money to buy the home from the widow. The widow, who was a lovely woman, she was like 75 years old. She was going to move to Texas to be with her kids and grandkids. There was nothing left for her anymore in the house other than the legacy that her husband worked on for decades in this train club. Broke her heart to sell it, but she knew that if she sells it to someone, there's no one in the world that's going to say, okay, you can still come into that house, into my home, and play with the trains multiple times a week and open up the house once a year to the public to go through. No one would do that, And so the night before she was going to have to list it for public sale, Melissa and I bought the house, and now the train club is back in full motion.
We're building them their own club room.
Yeah,
they have their own entrance to the home, so they can come and go as they please. And the whole entrance we're turning into like an old school train car.
Yeah, like an actual train car. And then I set up my old trains, and then there's a separated 3-car garage that we're building into. I want to open up the whole thing for the public, like for that in that once a year event. We're going to build my old trains in the 3-car garage because they're different gauge trains. They're not compatible with the ones in the basement. So I'm going to build a different layout there, and we'll have a game room, and then we'll run the charity event out of there. And Melissa's in there every day running her candle operation. It's pretty wild. Yeah. And it's 5 minutes away, and so the club is amazing. These guys are, the club members range in age from, there's junior members that are kids. There's people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, all the way up to their 90s, and the club members, they're all brilliant. Yeah. Like the folks that have been in the club for decades, these guys are like, one guy is literally a rocket scientist at Princeton University, right? Another guy physically built nuclear weapons for the U.S. government in the 50s and 60s. Another guy ran technology for Bell Laboratories for decades. Like, they're geniuses. Another's a chemical engineer.
I was going to say the youngest woman in the club is a chemical engineer.
A chemical engineer who also happens to be a councilwoman for the town. They're just really accomplished folks, and the train layout is a slice of America, an Americana that doesn't exist anymore. There's a lot of parts of the track that are based in reality around America, the history of America. And it's just, gosh, you can't lose that because in this day and age, everything we do is accessible 24 hours a day and kids are staring at their phone screens. But when you walk down there, your eyes widen, and it's amazing to watch people's reactions because they're like, that kind of mystery and imagination and sense of wonderment doesn't exist anymore and needs to be protected and needs to affect millions of people still in years to come.
Yeah, and that's a great segue into my next question was I mean, are younger kids interested in this? I mean, is this going to keep going, or are the kids of the members that are already there, are they interested in it because of their grandfather or dad or brother?
Yeah, I hope it continues. I have a little brother, and I brought him over to see the trains for the first time, and his eyes lit up, and
Yeah.
he's just running the room, and getting down to eye level and looking at everything and all the amazing details, and like people are there's little people, they're on break next to the railway,
Yeah.
and they're eating their lunches, and there's so much stuff.
I
I see
know.
something new every time I go down.
I mean, the answer, that's why I'm excited that we bought the house, because obviously the Impractical Jokers fan base is very supportive of the things that the guys and I do. Gosh, we've been on TV now. We've been making the TV show for 15 years, and season 12 is about to premiere on TV in a few weeks. And just in the past 2 weeks, since we made it publicly known that we bought the house, we've had 11 new active members join up for the club. This is as of a week ago, these numbers. 2 more junior members, 17 virtual members, donations come in, a merch store we launched. So I donated a new website to the club. I had our same webmaster that does the guys and I's different webs, ticketing websites, things like that, designed like a modern website where people can join, become members on the website. They can buy merch. It's all tax deductible. It's all for a nonprofit. It goes to support the community. They donate all the proceeds to fire in EMT. So it's a great cause, and it's tax deductible for you. So the answer is yes. I think that's what the Impractical Jokers fan base does, is that you can be anywhere around the world, become a virtual member of the Pacific Southern Railway, and then you get bi-weekly videos from me.
That's something they didn't have before.
Yeah, they didn't have that at all. And then you get exclusive content, like from Q was just in the basement, and I sent that out the other day. Q from Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, I saw that was really good.
And his in wonderment,
Yeah.
So if you're a virtual member, you still get all these cool perks, like videos from me every 2 weeks. You get free tickets to the annual open house show. You get swag from the show, from the club. You get your membership card, and it's you're supporting a great cause, and it's tax deductible. But so many active members join too. So I think and believe the answer is yes.
Yeah, for sure. And I never even thought of that. Didn't occur to me that you are opening it up to a whole new audience because of that. Did they have social media presence and stuff before this?
Yeah,
Kind of.
not like the
They didn't-
exposure that we
they
can
didn't-
bring.
They didn't have an Instagram page. Like we
Yeah.
built them the Instagram page. Their website was a little dated.
Yeah.
You couldn't join as a junior member. You couldn't be a virtual member.
Yeah.
And even their active membership, they voted on in person once a year.
Once a year, I was like, okay, let's
So
Yeah, let's modernize
modernize
that a
it.
little bit. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, that's fantastic. I do want to talk about your candle company a little bit because it was already mentioned that you were a nurse, and I think during COVID is when you decided to pivot and make that change.
I
Why
did.
candles, and what was your interest in that?
Yeah, so I started doing like artwork during COVID, like live moss artwork, and I was looking for an extension of that line, and I thought candles because earthy and whatnot, and we had a lot of spare time, so it took months of researching and trial and error and sourcing the best wax and fragrances and all of that, and I wanted to have a candle line that was safe for we have 2 dogs. Oh, and they're stuffing everywhere on the floor.
The dogs have
Oh, no.
ripped a toy apart
Oh, no.
because we're not paying attention to them. There's
They're
just
like, they're
this is-
distracted. Let's go for it.
Got that toy yesterday.
I know it's a brand new toy. Because
Man.
we have what do we have? A skunk on property, and it keeps spraying the dog's toys. So we threw out the dog's toys, bought a new one, they just ripped it apart.
Jeez.
Um,
Oh, that's funny.
I almost my pants yesterday. We walk outside, it's like midnight. We're taking the dogs on the last walk of the night, and there's just the skunk staring at us on the front lawn.
and our dogs run. If they see
Yeah.
an animal, they chase it.
So I quickly moved the flashlight away, and we're like, "Don't draw attention. Get them back in the house. Get the dogs back in the house before they notice it too." Thank God.
Oh,
Yeah,
it would have
that
been
is-
a much different interview if we
Yes,
were.
it would have been a much different interview. You would have had handkerchiefs over your face. Look like you're in the middle of COVID. Goodness. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so I want to mention that too, that your candles are clean candles.
They
that
are,
I
yeah.
read.
It took a long time to get the formula right and exactly how I wanted it. And a big issue I identified with candles is they smell really good in the store, and then you light it, and then you don't smell it anymore.
Yeah.
So I figured that out and fixed it. And when I launched the candles, they took off like crazy, and they they far outsold any of the artwork and stuff I was doing. So I took over candles full time, and they've been doing amazing. They've been growing every single year, and the operation and all of that, it's been growing in partnership with the charity event as well.
Yeah, and you
So
had an event yesterday that you did, right?
That
How
was
yeah,
was
fun.
that?
it was really good. It
Yeah.
was really good. Yeah, we have another one on
It was great. You
Saturday
did great.
in Lancaster.
Uh-huh.
We have them.
Gosh, are you serious? In Lancaster, Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
That's where I'm from.
No way.
Oh.
My nanny, my grandmom lives there.
Love that. Yeah, that's where I'm originally from. I moved to South Florida in 2003, but I was born and raised in Lancaster.
Oh, that's so cool. It's
Yeah.
so pretty up there.
It is nice to go back and visit. When I was 20, I was ready to get out, and I don't think I appreciated it as much as I do now when I go back. But yeah, grew up in Columbia, right across the Susquehanna River from York. So, oh, that's so funny. Where's the event going to be?
It's called A Day in the Park.
Day in the Park.
Okay, in the park. Well, I'll be sure to promote it. This is so funny because I was like, I finally found somebody that's not like intertwined in the Hallmark universe until I saw the joke with Danica McKellar.
Yeah, of course.
And I
God.
was like, 'cause she was like the Hallmark queen for a while until she switched networks. And I was like, well, there's still a little bit of an attachment, but that was so funny. I had never seen that one before.
Too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that?
He has two other Hallmark connections too. His best friend is like the main director at Hallmark for all
He's
their movies.
yeah, and one of my best friends is a director, does lots of Hallmark movies, and also just directed a movie that I have made that comes out at the end of the year, based on one of my books. It's a horror book called Don't Move, and in the movie, one of the lead characters is Hunter King.
She was on my podcast.
I
Yeah.
know.
Oh my gosh.
There you
That
go.
is so funny. It's all interconnected.
And I hate to brag, but I did have a cameo in a Hallmark movie. Yeah, I'm
Last
really
year, I think. Yeah.
last year. Whole Out the Holly too. I do shoot. I do break the fourth wall and do a double shoot right at the camera as the mayor of the town. I was the only one allowed to do that.
That is so funny.
No, you can. We have our fourth annual Alzheimer's charity benefit. It's a great night, a fun party, a lot of surprises, amazing auction items. That's October 25th this year in Montclair, New Jersey. That's already, you can already sign up for it at 95charity.net. And then you can support Pacific Southern Railway, one of America's longest running model railroad clubs. It's a nonprofit, and they donate their proceeds to fire and EMT by becoming a virtual member, in-person member, junior member, buying merch, donations. All you've got to do is go to pacificsouthern.org.
Awesome. I love it so much. Well, thank you guys for joining me and sharing this story, which I think is just incredible.
Take
Okay. Bye.